Hey guys, today I have more Christmas cards for you. First of all, I have cut some panels out of white cardstock and I'm using my distress inks. I'm making 4 cards today. On the first example, I used the mustard seed distress ink. On the second one, I'm using picked raspberry. Now I'm using mowed lawn, and I also will be using peacock feathers. And I'm just putting sort of a circle of ink in the right top corner. I don't need it to be super blended out. I just want to put some color down. Then I'm going to put them next to each other and I'm going to spray some water. I'm taking a spray bottle with just some clean water, and from a distance I am spraying it so that I have some small little drops on the paper. I let it sit for a couple of seconds and then I dab it off. I also want some bigger splatters, so I'm just taking a little spray thing out of the bottle and flicking it onto my paper to give it some bigger spots, and then I'm also letting it sit for a couple of seconds and then dabbing it off with my cloth as I did with these smaller ones. Now I am taking some Memento Tuxedo Black ink and this sort of reindeer stamp, and I stamped it 4 times. And I'm gonna color it with my colored pencils and with the Gamsol. So I'm gonna show you one up close. I'm not doing this clean at all because the Gamsol will blend it all for you. By the way, I have blending stamps for every color and I made these myself. If you want to know how I did that, please let me know in the comments and then I can do a video about it. So I'm just adding color really quick. I'm not using a lot of colors. I think only 3 browns and 2 reds, and then I'm just blending it with my Gamsol. And as you can see, it's very easy, and I will do that to all of the reindeers. As you have seen before, I did 4 cards and I did them in yellow, pink, green and blue. So I'm going to give each of these reindeers a different color of collar. So I'm gonna have 1 yellow, 1 pink, 1 green and 1 blue so that those colors match to the cards. And I also used a little bit of Gamsol to blend it out. Then I cut them out and now I'm using a black alcohol based marker to go around these sides because I don't want that white edge showing. I think it always just looks a lot more finished when you go around with a black marker so that you don't have that white edge showing. It's a lot prettier if it's just black. And you can use any kind of marker for it. Most people use the Memento marker. It's really good, but I don't have it, so I'm just using one of these. Then I have them all cut out, and now I have 4 of these rectangle pieces cut out of some manila cardstock. I'm using the Lawn Fawn Queen Capital ABCs, and I'm stamping Merry Christmas onto every rectangle, and I'm stamping it in the top left corner using some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And then from another cheap stamp set that I bought here in Belgium, I put Christmas and then I put a row of stars next to it. Then because I also want to make sure that these little borders match with the cards, I'm going to color these letters again in yellow, pink, green and blue. So here I'm using a green Copic marker, and that one is YG23. For the pink, I'm also using a Copic marker, and that is V12. Then for the blue, I have a very light blue, which is B000, but it was a bit too light and it didn't really look so blue because it's on manila. So I'm just using a cheap black blue marker, and I don't have a yellow Copic marker, so I'm also using a cheap yellow marker to color that in. And just like that, those strips are done. And now I also have these manila sort of backing pieces that I'm gonna put behind my colored pieces. They act sort of like a mat, and they just help tie the entire thing together because those little rectangles with the sentiment are also in manila, and I want it to be a bit the same. And then I have 4 white card bases. I'm gluing my pieces on top, and I want them all glued down with the colored spot to the top right corner. And as you can see, I did the yellow one wrong, and there is another one that I did wrong because the card was upside down and the fold was wrong. So you will see me changing that in a minute. But because I use liquid glue, it's easy to peel up and just stick down again. And now I'm using some foam tape to adhere these little sentiment strips. And I ran out of my roll, so I need to get a new one. And so I'm going to take off the release paper and adhere these. But first, as you can see here, I noticed that the yellow and the blue are wrong. So I'm just peeling it off and putting it on the right way. So now I'm putting on the sentiment strips, making sure that I match the colors so that I put the yellow one with the yellow card, and yeah, making sure it's all right. So now they're all good, and I'm going to adhere my little reindeers. I'm not using foam tape for this because that's too thick, so I'm using foam squares. These are quite thick, and I like that because it gives a lot of dimension, and they're equal as thick as my foam tape that I use to adhere the sentiment, because I'm going to do most of the part with the most of the reindeer I'm going to do with the foam squares, and then a little tiny bit like his left foot or hoof I'm going to adhere with some glue, because I just wanted a little bit on that strip and then also off that strip. You will see what I mean in a minute. So I'm just putting some golden matte medium on it that is into that little fine liner bottle. And as you can see here, it's a little bit on top of that border and most of it off of it. And now it's almost done, but I want to add some more bling, you know, the finishing touches. And I have these pearls, and they are just white. I have pink pearls and I have green pearls, but I don't have blue and yellow, so I use my Copic markers, again the Y38 and the B000, to color these, because Copics are alcohol-based markers. It doesn't rub off and it stays on there. And I am adding 1 big one and then 2 smaller ones, just in a sort of triangle, all the same. So these were the 4 cards. I will give you guys a close-up from each of the cards. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please give it a thumbs up. Bye!